What I want to show you today is how to repair a leaky faucet. And this type of faucet is the single arm faucet that most people have in their homes. It's one valve or one arm that cuts on hot and cold or a mixture of both. And they're very simple, very easy to repair once you understand what you need to do. First things first, cut off your water. Usually there is a water line for hot and cold that goes underneath the sink with two valves that cut them off. Make sure you cut off both sides. And to ensure that your water is off, cut this on, cut your sink here on to make sure, check it on both sides, left and right, to make sure there's no pressure on either side. Once that's accomplished, then you're ready to begin your repair. The long arm, or the your controlling arm here on your water faucet, is going to have a screw underneath it, or located on it somewhere is going to be a screw. In this one, the screw is located right here on the bottom. So what we do, we just take an Allen wrench, loosen our screw, and our arm comes straight off. And for the tools that you're going to need to do this repair, you're going to need an Allen wrench. You're going to need a faucet repair kit, which is basically these little springs, and it's two springs and two gaskets, and sometimes it comes with the actual Allen wrench, which they mostly have the same size. So it's going to come with two gaskets, two springs, and you're going to want to change the gasket and the spring, because you may lose tension on your spring and your gasket may lose its seal over a period of time. So you're also going to need a pipe wrench. Our next step in this process is to take this big cap off the top of our ball here. Our ball is located right underneath here. Once we take the arm off the top, the next thing is taking this. So we just take a pipe wrench, put it on here, and break it loose. Screw this out. Now, once this is out, you need to be very, very watchful of how this is put together. The ball, the two spring-loaded pins are in there, and you can see them. They're pushing against the ball. The ball sits in one spot, and it has to go in a certain way. This little piece on the top of the ball, it has to be located in a certain way. Now, if you'll notice right here to the left, there's a tab on this little plastic piece on the top of the ball. And it has a little slot that it slides down into, so you really can't put it in there wrong. And that just gives you your valve, which you go left for cold, right for hot, and you can go in the middle for a little bit of both. Straight down is to cut it off. So that kind of just makes your knob go whichever way you're supposed to go. So take that off. Now your ball has got a little slot on it. In this particular sink, it's got a little slot on this side. So your ball, it has a little slot in it, so it has to go into that slot. So if you notice, it's got little holes in it. These little holes are so water can come through it and make it hot or cold and give you the desired water that you're looking for. Once we get the ball out, then we are on top of the magical two little pieces that we want to get out. Now what I do, I just take my little Allen wrench, and the spring and the seal are sitting down inside, and I just pull them right out. just take that, pull them right out, and then you take your new one, come over here and put your new one back in place. Once you take your old one out, I'm going to take both of them out. But, so now both of these are out. So put your new ones, put them back in place, and what I do is I take my little Allen wrench and I use it as a center to get the spring and the seal lined up, make sure that the spring is working. Once I get it set down in there, I kind of push on it a little bit, make sure it moves up and down. It's got its own wiggle room. Now this old used sink, I'm putting the same seals and stuff back in it because it's just a demonstration for our video. But for a new one, of course, we're going to put brand new springs, brand new gaskets, the whole nine in there. So we put our ball. It has a little slot. We lined a little slot up. Got to get it in place. On top of the ball, remember we got the little plastic piece that has a little slot on the side. We line all that up. And last but not least is the cap, big screw top. We screw this down all the way to the point that it's tight, and then we want to just make sure it's good and tight on there, so we just snug it on where it won't move, where I can't get it off of my hand. And I'm checking my little ball before I put everything back together. And I'm going to put my arm back on. Then I'm going to come under here. Now, let me tell you one more thing about the ball before I put this arm back on. It has a little slot right here on the front, flat spot. The rest of the little arm is round. And that's so that this screw can go in there and tighten up on it and hold it into place in that one spot. So I look here, I put my arm back on, get my little Allen wrench, and I tighten it back up. And I check to make sure that it feels right. It's moving in all the right directions and stuff. But all of these are going to be different. They're going to be made different on the inside. And you have to watch how you take it apart and put it back together. I've replaced a bunch of these things. It's very easy, very simple to get it to stop leaking. The new spring, the new gasket, a lot of times it just needs something fresh in there to get it to seal. Once you do that, you got everything here in place. Make sure it's in the off position. Cut your water back on, hot and cold. Check it. Make sure everything's working like it's supposed to. Check hot, check cold. And cut it off and see if you're getting any leaks from it. Cut it off and just sit and watch it, and you shouldn't see anything leaking out of it. So that's how you fix a leaky faucet.